This is Minnie, who is always rolling on the ground, and this is Susie, who is running towards us. And this is their little box, which I always keep hidden behind the bookcase because I don't want anyone to see it when they get into my room. And this is me trying to clean up the litter box by putting out the trash bin. And as you can see, this is not very ergonomic. So the next project is the cat house. I wanted to be able to cover the litter box, and at the same time, it has to be a fun place for my cats to stare around, and most importantly, it has to look good. I wanted to be part of the furniture that blends into my room, so I don't have to hide this box behind the bookcase anymore. So the design is very straightforward. I have these two areas on the ground. This part is for our litter box, and here is like a foyer, which is the entrance to the entire cat house, and it can also help trap some of the litters coming out of the box. And then here there's two stairs, so the cats can just jump into the second floor, and this is their place to chill. To make sure the cat house is truly comfortable for them, I took some measurement of Susie and Minnie, their height, length, and how much space they usually need when lounging or moving around. This way, I could tailor the design to fit their habits and make it feel like a space that's truly theirs. Alright, it's shopping time. The main material I'm using is standard 1x4 pine board. The white finish already matches my room, so painting isn't necessary, but I will leave it as an option. After bringing the boards into my workshop, I quickly realized just how chaotic the space had become. Tools are scattered, materials are everywhere. It was clear I desperately need a good workbench, something that could not only help me stay organized, but also give me a reliable surface to actually get things done effectively. Assembling this didn't take too long, especially with Minnie hanging out by my side. Her little presence made the process more fun and relaxing. At the same time, I'm also adding a pegboard so I can hang my tools on the wall. Now it's time to take measurement and start making the cuts. I will be honest, I tend to mess things up more than often I like to admit. Maybe that's why both Susie and Minnie showed up, probably just to make sure I'm not messing things up again because this is for them. Always good to have some fluffy quality control on the job. Here I'm stacking the boards all together. I wanted to make sure the cuts with the same length are consistent and accurate. After finishing all the cuts, I used this jig from Crack to drill the pocket holes, as I don't want to have any exposed screws for the final piece. For the connections, I'm using just about every tools I have. It might seem like a little bit overkill at first, but I really want to make everything as square and precise as possible. However, I realized that the angle clamp was really the only tool I needed to get a solid connection. It works like an extra pair of hands, holding the piece perfectly in place while I secure them with the pocket screws. It made the whole assembly process a lot smoother and more precise. Here I'm assembling the left section, and my approach is to group the boards into smaller sections first, then combine them all together later. This method helps prevent the structure from being fragile or collapse during assembly. Plus, moving each section from workshop to the room becomes easier compared with moving the final one piece. While I'm doing my work, Minnie showed up to inspect the progress. She always here for quality control, making sure everything up to her standard. After assembling the two main sections, the overall frame is almost complete. All that's left is the final connection. But before that, I need to make sure I can actually move these pieces into my room. That's one of the main reasons I choose to build those in sections, which it makes transporting and assembling everything in place much easier. Here I'm adding the final piece of the frame, a horizontal beam that ties everything together. After finishing the frame, the first thing that came to mind was the backdrop. An empty wall felt way too boring. So I took a trip to the Dollar Tree and grabbed some inexpensive foam panel. I cut them to size to fit the space, and the plan was to cover them with this wood-slat style peel and stick wallpaper. The installation was super straightforward. You just cut them to size, line it up, peel and stick. But in order to make looks perfect, it still takes some time. So the next item in the list are stairs. For this, I used some leftover melamine board I had laying around. I cut it to a simple rectangle shape, but I also trimmed off one of the corner to soften the edge so my cats won't bump into the sharp corner. Here I invited Minnie to do a weight test and it looks good. Next up, I wanted to work on the loft area where I planned to attach the floor first. But guess what? Without my cat supervising me this time, I messed up the cuts. I was supposed to make the final trim on the one side, but instead, I do it on the same side twice, which left the board too short. So I had to go back, cut a new piece, and patch the gap. Lesson learned. Always double check or keep the cats nearby. Just having plain wood as the floor for the loft area felt a little too plain and boring. So in order to make looks better, I stopped by a local Japanese store and grabbed some cheap wood deck tiles and a small piece of a fake lawn. It's such a simple upgrade, but it really gives the loft area some personality. It feels way cozier and more playful, which is perfect for cats to lounge around or explore. And it's an inspection time. Apparently, Minnie shows more interest in this newly decorated loft area than before. Next up is the right side of the frame, which was completely open. Since I might place furniture next to it in the future, I wanted to cover this side so the cats won't be able to walk through it. But I didn't want it to block the view entirely, especially since the wood-slat wallpaper looks so great and adds a nice visual touch. So I decided to use acrylic panels. They're lightweight, transparent, it's more durable than glass, and super easy to cut, which is a perfect solution for this spot. The acrylic sheets I purchased wasn't large enough to cover the entire space in one piece. I had to use 2 panels, but honestly, that's totally acceptable, because getting a larger single sheet and cut down to the size would have cost me more than twice as much, and so this way we'll still get the job done without breaking the budget. When combining the final 2 acrylic panel, I intentionally make it about 1 inch short. To bridge the gap, I jumped into my 3D modeling software and it designed a middle connector to join the panels, along with an edge connector to secure the acrylic to the frame. After dry fitting both connectors, the total length of the assembled panel lined up almost perfectly with the open space there. Alright, it's time to put the sheets on. Honestly, the most annoying part was dropping the screws when I thought I had everything lined up perfectly. This is so frustrating, but what really got me was when I over-drilled this portion and ended up cracking the wood. At that point, I have to shift a little bit and just to get the connector in place. So not the smoothest moment, but hey, this is a DIY project. Finally, it's done. And this is the most satisfying part by peeling off the protective film from the panel, and I can see the stairs as well as this nice looking wood-slat behind it. Next, let's tackling the litter box. I'm using an automated litter box which saves me a lot of time on a daily basis, but I still need to clean it up once a week or so. And as you can see here, the old design is not very ergonomic when I opening the tray, and the new design is even worse, which I can't even open the tray properly. But believe it or not, that limitation was actually part of the design. Instead of figuring out how to make the little box accessible within the cat house while keeping it easy to use for my cats, I get some inspiration from the kitchen, which is this Lazy Susan. The idea is I don't have to open it from the inside at all. Instead, I can just rotate the litter box outward, open it from the front, and this is a much more ergonomic and convenient solution. So, In order to make it happen, you need to buy a heavy-duty Lady Susan hardware, which is normally used for a rotating dining table and a rounded wood plate on top of it. And looks like Susie can't wait to use the little box with the new setup. And whoops, Susie thought her can just walk through it, but guess what? This is just a transparent acrylic panel. And let's move out the bookcase, clean up everything, move the cat house and the backdrop in place, find a perfect location to place the Lady Susan, which you want to make sure it's absolutely centered. And there you go. This is our cat house, part of it as a litter box hideaway, and it's also a cat playground. It's easy for them to jump to the second floor, and it's also a piece of furniture of my room. Honestly, I'm very proud to showcase this thing to anyone else instead of hide it behind the bookcase. This is phase 1 for the cat house build, and I'm thinking about upgrading this entire thing by adding a sliding door, a transparent one, so my cat won't just jump off of the loft areas. Maybe a roof so I can leverage the space above it as a storage or a platform. And adding a door that fully covers the entire little box and then have a better odor control solution, you know, because it's just smelly. And I have no idea what kind of paint I wanted to use for this entire thing. So if you have any idea, drop me a comments. I'd like to hear what you think. I'm also thinking about creating a plan for this cat house, including the 3D printed model for the connector in my website, ergobuilds.com, if I can get 100 likes for this video. Also, the workbench I'm using in this video is from Enjoy Wood. This is not a sponsored video, but they did send this to me for free so I can test. I would say the overall experience is good. It's solid, the tops looks awesome, they have the drawer to help you organize the stuff, and they also have the power strip on the side. Additionally, they also including the pegboard as part of the package so that I can hang my tools on the wall. So if you're interested, I have a link in the description and they have a 10% off promotion running right now. Alright, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next one. Peace.